And welcome to the In-Game Boss Podcast bonus episode, which we are now calling it, thanks to your suggestion, Mini Boss Interview. Yes. So, you know, our guest here is going to be our very first experimental. I mean, he's been on the show like numerous times representing,
friend of the show.
You know, the fighting champion icon. I don't know. What would you call yourself, Ricky? What do you call yourself? What would you call yourself in the community?
Oh, that's a good. I would say the community lead, the champion TO, my ego getting in the way. But I'm definitely one of the community leads of the competitive gaming scene here in Oklahoma for sure.
Okay, so you're the TOPTO.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And just to go ahead and kind of get all this stuff out of the way, because this is going to be kind of a chill interview. The goal is to just kind of sit back, just get to know our interviewer. Well, are we the interviewers? Are we interviewee? Is he interviewee? Is that how it works?
Yes.
That sounds so tough to say, interviewee. It sounds Frenchish. You know what I mean? Like,
that's okay. I'll lift the heavy load.
But I am Jeremy, a.k.a. your in-game boss, a.k.a. your retro activist. And with me, of course,
Jerron, a.k.a. the evil of Aku, a.k.a. the grumpy bear.
And Ricky, I mean, you know, I never really asked you how Timmy Skorcher became your alias name, right? Yeah. Like, I never, even for people that are watching this, we see the name. They're like, I think people that would come on the show would just like, his name is not Ricky, it's Timmy.
Is Ricky like a nickname?
Yeah, what is the origin of that?
Okay, so then that's a really good question. So a lot of people don't know, when I was a kid that was always stealing everybody's crayons. I was stealing everybody's blue crayons. I would take their blue crayons, and my teacher was like, you know, you're just this nice person, and then you're also this mean person at the same time. And she was like, well, what is this alter ego that you are? You know, and I went home, I thought about it and stuff like that, and I remember my friend, I had this yellow car. It was a LeBaron, and we were naming my cars and stuff. My favorite rapper is Method Man, who also calls himself Johnny Blaze. So then we thought, okay, it'd be cool if I was Timmy Skorcher.
Okay.
And so
I
kind of ran with that. The funny thing is, whenever I'm doing like competitive gaming things or someone's looking for me professionally, they'll call my phone and say, yeah, can I speak to Timothy Skorcher? Not knowing
Timothy
that I'm Ricky McNeal. So that's how it started. It started from
okay.
You know,
so with that in mind, what part of the Marvel universe would Timmy Skorcher be then? If this character, you know what I mean? Like, would he be an X-Men? Would he be, you know, a replacement for the Human Torch? You know, like
exactly.
Where would you want to put Timmy Skorcher?
He would definitely be an Avenger from Wakanda. Exactly.
Okay.
I would definitely be T'Challa's right-hand man.
Okay.
I would be the good version of Killmonger.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay. But I think, like, I guess my question is that something you always thought of, like, when you were younger with Timothy Skorcher? Did you ever have this imagination? Would he be out in the Wakanda, or did you have another mindset at the time?
Yes. So when I grew up, and I'm a big comic book fan, so right now in the Marvel world for me, this is amazing because everything I'm seeing now, I didn't read about when I was younger. But like watching from all the first 23 movies of the Marvel universe, I knew everything. I read the comic books, so I knew everything. But growing up, I always wanted to be Black Panther and Iron Man. And I wish, I was like, damn, it would be nice if I could be both of them. And I eventually seen Killmonger as a character, right? Mm-hmm. I thought Johnny Blaze was cool, but I was like, that's not me. I like the fire because I always see myself with blue hair. You know what I'm saying? I always see with blue flames coming out from my head. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I was like, I could be this secret character in Wakanda or in, you know, a spawn of one of Tony Stark's up and coming people that would be in the Marvel universe. So I could see myself from Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah. You could definitely replace, you know, the tail end of the Avengers.
Exactly.
Like,
whether B Squad or C Squad?
No. Like, I guess you say B Squad. I'm not saying Black Widow. I'm talking about I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, he can replace Hawkeye. He replace Hawkeye.
Easily.
Yeah. I think he'd be fitting just fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, even Hawkeye knows. No, he's dead. I have a bow and arrow, and there's robots, and this doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
I agree with you. I mean, I grew up reading comics with my dad. Like I read a bunch of the comics from X-Men of the '80s. The Avengers. '90s, X-Men of the '90s, and seeing. I mean, I was hyped when Blade came out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Blade. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, there wasn't a good Marvel movie until Iron Man." No. Blade was that Marvel movie.
Yes,
and
Blade saved that franchise too.
Yes. There is like Blade 1, Blade 2, not so much Blade 3, but I was
no Blade 3,
Blade 3. I was
Dracula was a model.
Dracula was a model. What? I mean, they were trying to do a backdoor origin story for Ryan Reynolds. I
swear, Dracula was walking on the same street as Tobey Maguire was trying to be Venom, because they both had that same strut going down the street. It's just like no more walking down the street being cool. It does not work for anybody.
That's just how it goes. But I mean, we are living in a freaking nerd geek renaissance right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever we grew up with, chances are it's coming back. It came back, or it's just a matter of time. I mean, we got new He-Man coming on Netflix.
Yeah, isn't Kevin Smith supposed to be doing that?
Yeah. Kevin Smith, He-Man, Masters of the Universe Revelations.
Okay.
I mean, we got Resident Evil, new anime for Resident Evil coming. We got, you name it, we're gonna have it, or we have it.
Dude, I was when it came to comics, I was cheesy in comics, man. I read like the cheesy stuff. I read Archie. I read Sonic.
Oh, okay.
I did too. I had them too.
But that's part of your catalog. It wasn't your only thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was my only thing. 'Cause I didn't really get into comics that much. I was a big cartoon person, but I never really went to the comics or anything like that at the time.
Yeah. It was one of those things. It helped that my dad, and I've come to learn his brothers, were all massive geeks. Massive geeks. My dad had a ton of comics. His brothers borrowed or stole his comics. They played a bunch of video games back in the day. They were huge into wrestling. That's how my dad got me into wrestling, and it was that was a thing. It's like, so I could name stuff about wrestling back in the 80s and the 90s and the Monday Night War and comics and I got my dad into anime. Now he watches all the anime. He and I watched Dragon Ball Z back in the 90s when it came on Saturdays, and you had to wait like a whole year
just to watch an episode.
Exactly. So I not turn this into an old man's like, you kids don't know how lucky you have it, but these kids don't know how good they have it.
Ricky, we know that for people that are probably listening or even new people, you are a big name in the fighting community, at least in Oklahoma, right? And probably more. I'm only saying that because, this is from Oklahoma. So I don't know how long the catalog it is, but they can listen to our last episodes to figure that out. But I guess, one thing I never really got the chance to ask you out of all of this is, what is your favorite, fighting game? I don't think I ever asked you that, because, you host so many, but you never really talked about, what is my favorite? What is your favorite?
Okay, so my favorite fighting game of all time, this is the game that I played over and over and over and over, is Ultimate Mortal Kombat. And I'm talking about MK3. So when MK3 dropped, they had MK3, MK Trilogy, Ultimate MK3, right? So I guess those are our versions of DLC,
Yeah, or the equivalent like the Street Fighter Turbo Remix.
Now I grew up on Street Fighter, and I grew up on Marvel versus Capcom. Those are the things that were I would always go to the arcade and play. But once I found, MK, the Mortal Kombat 3, that really got me my competitive juices going too. Because I used to just play in Tecmo Bowl tournaments. But when MK3 came out and I had an Asian guy teach me how to play, oh man, I was just in love.
Whole new world.
So, okay, all right. Let's go on that, because he just basically just told us a story almost every American that goes to an Asian country, they get trained when they get their butt whipped. Basically just the Karate Kid story.
Exactly.
How did he train you? How does one train you to do this?
Right. So the crazy thing is, and this is going to go into. Let me shut my door real quick. My kids are loud. Hold on.
Okay.
1 second. Okay. So like the crazy thing is like same thing with the comic books. I was reading comics, and I was reading Infinity War, right? And I go to Heritage Park Mall. I'm playing in these Mortal Kombat tournaments. I'm winning all of them. Woo. And this one kid's watching, but he's not in the tournament. So after the tournament, he said, "Hey, can I play?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm pumped. I won another MK tournament. He starts beating my ass, right?
He scouted you.
I can't even touch the ground. He's whooping my ass so bad. And then he was like, "Yeah, man, you're not doing any juggle combos. You're not doing nothing." And I said, "What's a juggle combo?" And he was just like, "Give me $5." And I'm thinking, right. I'm thinking he's gonna take this $5 and train me. No, he took the $5, went and got some coins, and he came back and we went through those $5 and he was explaining to me what juggle combos are. Then he said, "You see that book over there? This is at the time it was Funko Land. It was something.
Funko Land, yes.
Whatever game store it used to be.
Yeah.
I went and got a combo book. He said, "Buy this book. Go through it, learn everything with Smoke," because Smoke was my guy. Learn everything with Smoke, come back here in a couple weeks. So, of course, there's a tournament again, and I'm like, oh no, he's here. This is my nemesis. He doesn't enter the tournament on purpose, but he's sitting there coaching me while I'm playing in a tournament, right? And telling me what to do, and yeah, you're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. And then I'm like beating the heck out of these people. And then everybody's like, oh, now this guy, not only is he winning the tournaments, now he's got Mr. Miyagi behind him coaching him.
Yeah.
And so
I would be pissed if I was like in my boat, like, is he teaching him to be better?
Right. And what's so funny about this guy is, and I don't remember his name, he wouldn't teach no one else. He only taught me, the person that was already winning. And it was just like, when I remember this parent said, "Hey, can you train my kid?" He said, "No," and walked off. So that's how I got trained. But, and then when I'm thinking I'm good, 2 years ago, I'm playing against Biggs. I know y'all familiar with Biggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He whoops my ass in it. I'm like, it's like no matter how good you get at stuff, there's always somebody that's better than you. And it's just ridiculous. So that's my game, though, man. I was real good at that game. I won a lot of tournaments in that game. I'll never forget one of the ones I've won. I win, right? I've come out with $500, and my mom thinks I stole $500 out of the mall. I promise you, I won this in this Mortal Kombat tournament.
I mean, in a way, you did. You stole it from all those kids.
Yeah, she takes me in, and she's like, "Where did you get this?" And this guy, tells him, "Hey, he won this Mortal Kombat tournament. He won that." And she's like, "Oh, okay, well, maybe you should come to more." So my mom supported me ever since that day, and she bought me all my versions of Mortal Kombat. Every time a new one come out, she bought me another one. I remember UMK3 was like $89. So when people complain about the price of games now, back in the day when they were on cartridges, they could be expensive.
They didn't understand. Earthbound was like $100.
Let me stroke your ego for a moment. From the moment that guy trained you, does that kind of warm you up that everybody just sucks so bad that they didn't know how to, like, they didn't know how to juggle either then, right? If that's the outlook, right?
Exactly. That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, okay, if I'm not good and I'm beating everybody, oh no, we're all bad. And I started thinking, but then it made me think, when I used to, so once I got really good, all my aunt's friends used to come to her house and play Sega Genesis. And anytime I see Mortal Kombat, I'm that little kid, the little 8th grader, to be like, I want to play. So while y'all rolling, y'all doing your marijuanas and stuff, let me play. And I go from it's $1 a match to it's $5 a match. Okay? Yeah. I'm telling you, back in the day, people were thinking I was this. What's that? The Wiz? People thought I was the Wiz.
And, you were the wizard.
Beating grown men, and it made me realize that I was like, okay, I think Mortal Kombat was a game I realized that I thought I was special because even when, let's say for example, Tecmo Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. Tecmo Bowl, everyone used to use Bo Jackson. Yeah. Bo Jackson and the Raiders.
Yep.
I was like, okay, how can I beat this guy? Because everybody is always picking the Raiders. So I picked the Giants. My favorite color is blue. This is how I became a Giants fan. A lot of times people don't know. I'm a New York Giants fan. Lawrence Taylor will crush Bo Jackson anytime on the game. Okay, so if you're ever playing against somebody that picks up the Raiders all the time, pick the Giants, because Bo Jackson would just run through people. Well, Lawrence Taylor, he couldn't do that. He would grab them, and so that's when I started realizing, okay, there's ways to beat people with anybody. And I learned to do that with all video games. Even when I remember the first time I was playing Street Fighter at an arcade. Again, I'm not that great, and everybody made fun of me because I picked Balrog, who is on my wall, one of my favorite characters, and I was beating everybody with him. Now think about this: back in 1995, no one picked Balrog,
right?
But I did. I picked Balrog, and I would just beat the crap out of everybody with him, while everybody else was picking Ryu, Chun-Li, and Ken, and you know what I'm saying. So it's important to always just understand that there's always somebody out there.
Yeah. Learn the matchup.
Somebody out there.
Did you go by Timothy Skorcher in that time too, or did you have a different name for the during the arcade times?
Okay, so during that era, I was going by, I believe it was Proxy. Yeah, I was going by Proxy Thoroughbred. Okay. And so at first I was going by Proxy Thoroughbred. Then I got my name Jump because of basketball. I played basketball really good, and then I got Timmy Skorcher. So it was kind of like. It was like a transition. So a lot of people call me Jump and Timmy Skorcher. All my friends that grew up with me call me Jump. Everybody in the gaming community calls me Timmy Skorcher.
How old were you when you won those tournaments?
You said 8th grade. Was it that time or a little bit before that?
I mean, I was winning tournaments. Okay, so when did Mortal Kombat 3 drop?
Was it 95?
Okay, so the first Mortal Kombat was 92, 93.
Yeah, because I wasn't winning Mortal Kombat 2 tournaments. I was not good at that game. So
I want to say
95.
It was 94, 95.
Yeah.
At least the Ultimate, at least.
Yeah. Ultimate MK3 was 95 in arcades. Yeah. It was in arcades 95. So yeah.
Yep. So that means I was 7th, 8th grade. Yep. That's about right.
Was that a weird transition from that to the consoles? Were you think the reason maybe you were not really good at the one on the console was because you were used to the arcade sticks in that aspect?
No, because I was one of those gamers where no matter what controller it got, I could play on anything. So I was okay. How people be like, oh, it's an Xbox controller, it's too big. Oh, it's PlayStation. Okay. No. Okay. I could play on a Nintendo controller. Here's another funny thing. I could beat you in Mortal Kombat on Nintendo 64. Sony PlayStation or Sega, it didn't matter. 6-button, 3-button, N64 controller, you're getting your ass beat. If I get the button configured, it didn't matter. So when I went to people's house, sometimes they had a 64. That's cool. We can do it. So I had a good transition. It was easier for me to go arcade, back to console. It didn't matter. I could console shift. And that's why I wish some of these gamers understood how good they are, because they're beating me. Because even though I'm a bum against these guys now, I was really good. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, think about Dragon Ball, right? Remember when Krillin used to be strong?
Oh, or any human human on the show?
Yeah, where they had a team of humans and one Saiyan against the invading Saiyans.
Exactly. I mean, Yamcha, he's like one of the strongest people on Earth. As a human, yes.
I mean, Krillin was stronger. Though.
I said one. I didn't say the. I said one.
After you saw Yamcha get laid out, he stopped fighting after that.
Yeah, but look at the meter between the two. It's not. You know what I mean? Like from regular human to Yamcha, it's to Yamcha to Krillin. Like
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Find out there's a bigger fish out there.
And explaining that to family members sometimes, it's like, Ricky, why don't you play in your own tournaments? And I'm like, no. I would lose. And he's like, impossible. You used to win all the tournaments. And I would tell him, I'm like, things have changed. When I told my little brother, Rico, that I wasn't good enough, he's like, bro, you used to be the Goku of gaming. I said, I am Krillin now, bro. And his mouth dropped. He's like, ain't no way, bro. You used to beat everybody else. I'm telling you, these guys are good. And it's just that, I don't know what it is. It just doesn't.
Dude, it's age. You never go. No one's ever in their prime forever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, even in the Tekken world, Kudans was considered, the guy, and I mean, he's still a really good player, and everybody respects him. But I'm not saying he's too old, but he's got other stuff going on.
Right. That and also too is it's not so much of you changing, it's the game changing. Like
the game changing too. Yep.
Yeah. You're good at 3 doesn't mean you're going to be good at the next Mortal Kombat and the next and the next. Is like, this was my prime.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Well, Mortal Kombat especially, they changed so many controls and movements for characters.
Combo change, characters.
I mean, Street Fighter, they built on the move set for a lot of characters, the legacy characters. Like, if you were a Guile player, you're going to be fine no matter what. But, you know, if you Smoke, you know, Smoke wasn't even in some of the games, and then Smoke came back, and then, you know, so, I mean, that's why I was talking to some of the guys, and it's like, yeah, these people who've been playing Tekken since the first, second, third one or whatever. I mean, I played Tekken back when it was Tekken 2 in the arcades, and like you were, you know, sitting in the arcade, Tekken 2 and Tekken 3, I had like a long line of guys, you know, put the quarter up on the screen. I was just running through guys and quarters. People were mad, pissed to go and get more. Yeah, but it changes. It changes. You know, you get a little older, reactions slow a little bit. You have other things that you can't be on the grind, you know, 7 hours a day.
You literally have to have no life to continue your legacy in every single game. You can't be married. You can't have kids.
I mean, to be fair, you can be married. You can have relationships. It's just you have to.
You ignoring her. You are ignoring her. She is there. Yeah. She is there for support, but you are ignoring her.
At some point, I think you do have to have like. Let's say Raybone Killer, somebody that's in the computer that's really good at Tekken. He's been playing all his life with Tekken, right? Yeah. He has had a son, but I think Raybone, he only has 2 hobbies, Tekken and skateboarding. So it couldn't be someone like me who I run multiple businesses, I run HXC, and then I can compete in games. It's impossible to stay sharp as you need to with multiple hobbies. So it's kind of like a pick your poison kind of deal. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't do it. You can do a little bit of everything, but you can't, you know, master whatever. It's like, you know, we were talking earlier, like woodworking, and I'm trying to teach myself this and that, X, Y, Z. I can play Tekken maybe about 3 hours, you know, 4 days a week. And that's enough to get to at least be competent.
Exactly. But I think so your 4 hours ain't gonna be able to compete with Arslan's 40 hours.
Yeah, Arslan having a whole team named the Ashes now. You got a whole team in Pakistan now.
But I think also, too, that's where your mindset becomes from competitive to just for fun. Well, I think once you kind of get your life busy with other stuff, now it's just, I just want to play for fun.
But I'm still happy showing up in tournaments and at least making some of these giants bleed a little bit.
Yeah, but you ain't walking off like, man, screw these guys. You know what I mean? Like you're like, you know, it was a good time. I had a good time.
I'll put it this way: I'm happy if I'm in like top 8, top 16 in a local.
See, it's like that right there. You didn't even say top 5 or even top 2. You're like, I made top something.
No, it's like,
that's good.
Top 10, top 16, or whatever like that. Because guess what? I made a patio table out of some spruce.
So you're basically saying, as long as I get on the top hits of the now whatever number albums, I'm good.
If I'm in the competitive scene, I got to be a little competitive.
Yeah, no, you should.
Yeah, I want a little. I'm always going to want all the smoke. That's how I want all the smoke.
All the smoke.
You know, it's like I can take those. I'm strong enough to hold those L's. I want all the smoke because that making whomever bleed is like, all right, yeah, so and so. Oh, boom, took a game off of them. That it's a great feeling to me. It's like, oh, that's just another weekend for so and so, but it's a great feeling to me.
So, Ricky, how do you yourself deal with the balance of your family, your business? Like, how's that been treating you?
You know, during COVID, it was great because I got to play a lot of video games, right? But what I like to do is I do all my business stuff. I try to get an hour in a day, at least an hour of gaming, because what it does for me is it's therapeutic. I know a lot of gamers say it's stressful, but I need at least an hour. So what I try to do is I squeeze in an hour. Between 3 and 6, I'm with my kids. I spend all my time with my kids. And then, 6 to 7, I'll try to get in some games. And then, I'll do some things with my woman sometimes, or then after that, late at night, I'll play some more games, 2 or 3 hours. Once a week, I was doing it where I get in the lobby with gamers, and I sit there and I like to watch games a lot too. So I spend like 3 hours of just watching other people play, because I like to see what people do, and I like the way to see how they think about games.
Now, do you entirely focus on that, or is it more like I'm working on stuff while I'm like kind of like listening kind of person, or do you fully focus on what you want?
Oh, I'm fully focused on
Okay.
it. If anything, I'm thinking about one thing I'm bad at and I'm going to get better at this year is marketing. I'm terrible at marketing myself. And so I'm going to step that up a lot this year because a lot of times, let's say, for example, I was trying to not be cocky on this dude. This dude was like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this and doing that. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool. I'm like, have you ever been here? Have you been there? And then he didn't know who I was. I was like, hey, if you want to be a part of this competitive scene and you don't know me, that's a problem. I was like, for you not to know who I am, you're not doing enough market research. So then that made me think, okay, maybe I'm not marketing enough either. So that's one thing I'm working on right now.
I would definitely agree with that because even though like I even put you remember I did a shout out. I'm like, is there any other gaming podcast in Oklahoma other than us? And no one has claimed anything. So now I put that front up of trying to market myself as like the #1 video game podcast. I like to be precise. Video game podcast in Oklahoma, trying to market that title.
Gin up some competition.
Yeah, but I'm trying to be like Ricky. I'm like, if you don't know who I am as having the #1 podcast, then something's wrong with you.
Exactly. That is precise. You are spot on. I did finally found someone that does a podcast in Oklahoma.
You do,
and he's a gamer.
Okay,
and he's got it's a pretty decent. And when I mentioned you, I'm like, okay, you gotta know this guy. Now this is 6 months ago when I told him about you. I don't know if he reached out to you, and it's a black guy, and it's pretty decent. I'm gonna send you his information.
Okay, right on.
But that's the thing that sucks about Oklahoma that I don't like is we're all down the street from each other.
Yes.
We don't all know each other all the time. It's like my friend told me, he's like, I've never seen a black woman do Chun-Li cosplay. And I'm like, yes, I've seen it. And it's like, maybe you're not getting out enough because I see it all the time. We have a lot of black cosplay. We have a lot of black people into anime. It's just like, I don't know. So I am working on something that's going to fix all of these problems. I'm going to have you guys help me, and we're going to be a part of it. Because the stuff that I got set up, I'm going to make everybody else pay us. You guys get in for free because you're my boys. But,
Thank you. Thank you.
But like, it's just like we got to start the entertainment in Oklahoma is really weird. Have y'all ever noticed that?
Oh, yes.
There can be all sorts of stuff going on, but you just don't hear about it. Or people are like, I never heard about this.
I think that comes down to, I think we're all coming to agreement that they're also not marketing. Like marketing has been a very weakness in this
marketing
state.
Marketing is weird in Oklahoma. Entertainment seems weird because the marketing in Oklahoma is weird because it's either really siloed in like just certain demographics or there's not a big enough like who's going to market into Oklahoman? Not a lot of people read the Oklahoman, Right. I'd read the Gazette, but you don't see the Gazette everywhere.
Yeah. So, but here's the big problem. We say it's bad here, but the moment it's somebody from out of town, everybody talks about it.
Yeah.
It's like Super Big Con. I think that's one of the best conventions we ever had in Oklahoma, right?
Yes.
And it was pretty big, pretty good sized convention.
Oh yeah.
But the moment that what was that convention called? They travel all over America.
Wizard World.
Something con.
I was gonna say
Tulsa World. The World, is that what it's called? No, not Tulsa World. I forgot what it's called.
Are you talking about the Comic-Con in Tulsa?
It normally it's in Tulsa, not Tokyo and Tulsa.
Okay,
it's one from out of town.
It's usually Wizard World that comes to Tulsa, and then it came to Oklahoma City.
That's what it was.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Okay.
The moment it came to OKC, everybody talked about it, and I'm just like, dude, we have our own stuff here, and why is everybody talking about that? Like a rapper, we have a lot of dope rappers, but the moment one from out of town comes, everyone talks about them. But when it's the ones in our backyard, no one talks about them. I haven't figured this out. We need to figure it out. We all need to market each other better. We all need to talk about each other more.
Yeah. We hear about KIT, Texas and Tennessee. We hear about CEO and Final Round and Combo Breaker. We could Oklahoma, in time could have its own whatever event, whether it be Super Bit Wars.
Yeah.
And it could be that thing that people are like, all right, I'm going to Super Bit Wars. I'm going to get me some major whatever Capcom Cup points or Tekken World Tour points there, and all sorts of. We get people from the coast coming here. It's possible.
If it wasn't for COVID, I'm gonna tell you guys this. If it wasn't for COVID, we would have had one of the biggest tournaments in the nation. Had it not been for COVID, Super Bit Wars 8 was on its way because we had 10 pro players coming. We had a large prize pool, but then COVID happened. But even that, a lot of times I tell a company, I'm like, hey, Super Bit Wars has about 600 people. And their mouth always drops like, really? I'm like, yeah, we have 400 competitors, 200 spectators. It's always big. And then it's just like, they went, no way, not here in Oklahoma. I'm like, yes, we do this every single year, and it's getting bigger and bigger. So the next Super Bit Wars we're going to do is going to be massive. And I can't wait to tell you guys about it. I can't talk about it yet because we're still signing contracts and stuff, but don't worry, you're going to be a part of it.
Anticipation. It's the anticipation.
So with a quick question before we move on, I wonder, how was this kind of in talk during last year, during the coronavirus session? Was that kind of in talk of building this up for, coming soon, or was it?
Actually, so when Super Bit Wars 8, it was in motion. It was ready to go. It wasn't going to be as big as it was going to be big. But when COVID happened, it almost like we had to cancel it. We lost a lot of money. We had to refund everybody. It sucked. Okay. Then when the world started coming back to a couple months ago, someone said, hey, let me show you this space that we have. I went and looked at the space, and I was like, oh, my God, this is perfect. And they was like, yeah, you can get all of this and expand. And so I was like, okay, my wheels is turning. Then I started thinking about you guys. I started thinking about all our partners and people that we work with. And I was like, okay, I got an idea. We're going to get this all in motion. So I got the ball rolling. I'm going to sign contracts next week. And then I'm going to start spilling the beans what it's going to be.
Oh, it's exciting. Now I'm excited. So by the time this episode and people get it in their hands, they're going to be like, oh, shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we make the announcement, it's pretty massive. It's pretty massive. And I'm just going to be honest. It's one of those things where if you think you're a gamer or you care about competitive gaming, anything gaming, and you're not a part of this event, you're not a gamer. I'm being serious. Like this is going to be taglines. This is going to be the event. This is going to be the event that you have to be at if you're a gamer. So
I make that one of the taglines. Like challenge, like hey, you pick up a controller, you call, you better be here.
Exactly, you should be there.
Like, no
exactly. Even if you're not a competitive gamer, you should be there if you're a casual gamer.
I mean, I'm gonna enter in. I was entered in Super Bit Wars 8 last year. I was going to show up because I was mad I couldn't show up the year before because I had to.
You had the wedding, right?
Yeah, I had to officiate a wedding. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I did it, but I was like, man, I'm entered. I got to take these DQs
because that was placed at. What's the name of the hotel off of May?
No, that was at the Union.
Okay, what year was it? And the one on May. That was my first time going to his event before Super Bit Wars.
Okay, you went to.
It was right where David Buster's was.
Yeah,
on Northwest Expressway.
Not
Northwest Expressway. Is it Northwest Expressway?
Yeah.
It used to be called. It's Embassy Suites right now, but before it was like a Hyatt or Marriott.
Marriott. That's what it was. Yeah, Marriott.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the first one I was there because that's when I was representing the Gamer Stand podcast at the time before this whole whole thing. So that was my first time going in there, and I don't want to say that was probably the biggest show you ever done, but
no, it wasn't.
But it was a good taste of what it was. It wasn't until Super Bit Wars where it was a little bit bigger because that was at the OU at the last time I went. I want to say it was about 4 years ago.
Yeah, like 4 years ago when y'all had a booth, right? You guys had
we did. We were closest to the big stage.
Yeah, y'all was close to the Dragon Ball side. That's it. That's the year that we were booing Tim. We were booing Tim.
Yeah.
We wanted him to lose.
Yes.
Man, we were there till midnight because of his ass.
Yeah, and then was that the first year Rock Paper Scissors was created that time? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Whose idea was that at the time?
That was me and Matt's idea.
Okay.
And so we're big on. I don't believe in flipping coins. I feel like flipping a coin, that's out of your hand. That's all pure luck. But, when you're picking rock, paper, scissors, you're the one making the mistake. You're the one losing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we were like, dude, it'd be dope if we had a tournament. And honestly, this Super Bit Wars, the World Rock, Paper, Scissors Committee wanted to be a part of it.
Wow.
And we were like, oh, okay, we got to figure out how this is going to work. And so it's like, let us know we'll be happy to assist you. And then a month before the event, they were like, hey, we got to back off. This COVID thing is getting serious. So maybe next year we'll do it. And I'm like, okay, well, cool. Because Poo Young, one of the tournament organizers, he was like, hey, man, this rock, paper, scissors shit is messing up the brackets. Y'all going to have to start doing it after the event. So, yeah, man, that's another thing. I never told no one that the World Rock, Paper, Scissors Tour was trying to be a part of Super Bit Wars, and COVID ruined that too.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, thinking about that and hearing both of your stories and experiences about going to these events or putting these events together, it made me kind of reflect on what we were talking about. Why, it seems Oklahoma has all this cool, really does have all this, this cool shit that's here, but people don't go to it or people don't hear about it. Mm-hmm. And that's because even though we're all really close together, everybody is really in their own, little bubbles about stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't even... Like, the Super Bit Wars and Red Dirt Rumble and all these cool events were going on for years. I didn't even start getting into it until I happened to, hear about it on Facebook. Like, see a passing thing. It's like, oh, Red Dirt Rumble. Oh, I play Tekken 7. I just started playing Tekken 7. I'll show up to one at DZ Comics. I probably got washed the hell out real fast. But I was like, damn. Crap, I better, because I've beaten everybody I've ever played, and I got beat real fast. I better go back. I think because, there's Facebook, but Facebook can only do so much. I think if people need to take more interest, have more interest, go out there, want to connect with other people. Same with the OKRGS, the Retro Gamer Society. I would have loved to have gone to the BitCons in the past. I've only gone to 2 of them, though.
Yeah.
And that's because I was really late to the party hearing about stuff.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to talk about my experience at some of those cons for the listeners. Okay. Because here's the difference between Drawn and I think this would be good for the listeners. I would say I am more of a casual watcher. Mm-hmm. So I like to observe. I like to observe the community. I like to see what everybody's like. I like to just pay attention to how people fight, do their fighting is, how they communicate. All that kind of stuff. I never really jumped in any competition stuff. I'm terrible at fighting games. I'm a loser to say I play for fun. Okay, so but then we have
filthy casual,
right? And then we have you that actually been in the realm. You have competed in tournaments and stuff. So I think going on with this conversation, I think people will understand my point of view, or are going to understand my point of view when I ask certain questions. Like, for instance, for casual people, right? I have noticed during this time that we get a lot of people that become regulars, and regulars meaning that they keep coming back. But I keep bob and weaving. I always see the people that come in and they never come back. And I guess one of my questions I was thinking, I told you about this, is like, how do you get these casual people to become regulars,
Yeah.
And, and I feel like that, Ricky, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it feels like it's almost 50-50. Part of it is like, half of them, the 50% to me is they have to make the effort to try, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then the other 50% is to feel welcome. Yeah. So, Ricky, my question, I guess, is in that world as, running this stuff, like, how does that work in your mindset of that balance? Like, what do you do? What do you say? How do you deal with it?
That is a really, really, really good question. And a lot of us TOs, that's one of our first things we worry about, is when we got the new person, we're like, oh shit, they're a new person. Let's bring them in slowly. And a lot of people don't know this. When you got a new person, I don't let them get to our top players at all. I make sure they do not play our top players at all. Okay. Because what happens is they'll play them, they'll get abused, they'll get shitted on, and then they don't ever come back, right? So this is how I handle it. I normally, whenever I do tournaments, this is what I do. I have tiers. I have what I do for spectators. I have what I do to competitive gamers, and I have something I do to a mom and pop, right? Like a mom, right? And so what I do is, if you're a competitive gamer, I ask a question. I'm like, hey, have you ever won a tournament? If you say no, I know not to put you against a Raybone. If you tell me you've never played in a tournament, oh, hell yeah, you're not even talking to Raybone. You see what I'm saying? So
you go down here. You go over there. Yes. Go over there.
You're gonna go talk to Matt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I do it in tiers for the competitive gamers. If it's a mom, I warn her. I say, hey, what's your first event you've been to? I was like, why don't you go shopping or go? There's a mall down the street. Go have fun. Because a lot of time my mom thinks, oh, this is going to take an hour or 2 hours. They think I'm like, no, we're going to be here for 4 hours. So he's in good hands. You see you later, right? That's how I do with moms. And then the casual people, I just explained to them what's going on. I was like, hey, did you know you can come over here and play for fun? Like, seriously, you can go pick up a controller, hang out. There's some drinks over here. There's this over here. Just hang out. Let me know if you need anything. Here's our channel. Follow the channel. It's almost like I'm doing all these extra things. That's why I don't know if guys ever notice. Whenever I'm running tournaments now, people don't let me push brackets no more. If it's my event, I'm more of a hostess the whole time.
Okay.
And then everybody's running my brackets for me. Versus back in the day, I would do the brackets and people would ask me questions. And I'm sitting here with a tablet in my hand, pushing the bracket and talking to a mom at the same time. Mm-hmm. So you have to do that. Anybody out there that hosts events, make sure you're catering to everybody, all the way down to a grandpa standing there watching, because they're the ones that's going to bring the kid back. And if they feel like this is a bad experience, you're not going to hang with those guys. I've seen these guys doing all this crap and stuff, And sometimes I warn the parents, I'm like, hey, they're a little rowdy. You're going to hear some obscene language, but guess what? They're going to teach your kid how to play Tekken today. I promise you. They're going to, whatever your kid doesn't know, they're going to learn today. And so, man, it's a very delicate situation. You got to be careful. You can't put a new person against a top person. And a crazy thing I learned too, a female gamer, it was a long time ago, I was at a DZ Comics, right? I babied her. I made sure that no one pissed her off, talked about her, made her feel uncomfortable. I put a bubble around her. And one day I seen her tinker. I'm like, hey, you played at DZ Comics. You were beating everybody. What happened to you? And she goes, well, I stopped coming because you treated me too well. And I was like, what? What? I'm like, what did I do wrong? She was like, Ricky, you kept everybody from talking to me. You kept everybody from making fun of me. It's okay. I know how to beat these guys' ass, and you protected me too much.
Okay. I was like, I can't win anything, can I?
So that was the one. It backfired on that one. So I realized it's like, I get it. Guys are, when they see a beautiful girl with a fight stick, they tend to get a
thirsty.
little more. She was like, just treat me like everybody else, and everything will be fine. And I was just like, in my defense, I was like, hey, I was just trying to make sure, A, I didn't put you against somebody too tough, and B, I didn't want nobody to offend you. She was like, well, you see me with a fight stick and I got anime characters on it. You should have knew I could handle my own. I said, yeah, but I asked you if you won any tournaments.
I get where you're coming from, because if you're the only woman there, I mean, there's a high chance that something can easily go bad. And
it's unfortunate that is the reality too.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, at the same time, I ideally, and this is just from my perspective, I want to, I have fun, when one of the last RDRs I was able to go to was at that Scratch Kitchen place up near Edmond. Yeah. I was watching Tara play, and Tara was beating ass, of course. And I was like, it'd be nice. I saw several other, ladies in the audience. I was like, this is nice. I want to get to the part where it's like, some smack talk. Tara, whomever, is like, hey. It's time for you. It's time for your 2 week spanking.
I would love to see more women into these fighting tournaments. Just seeing what.
I mean, they're out there. They're
out there. When we travel, there's a lot of them. Yeah. In Oklahoma, there's not as many, but that's okay. I got a plan to start turning over some rocks to get this next generation. The good thing is I am one of the head people over Oklahoma esports in high school.
Nice.
And I'm going to be policing that, because last year, here's a funny story. Last year, there was a Madden tournament, right? For high school. It was a high school state championship. And only 6 people played in it. And I was like, what? How does that happen? And then EA Sports hits me up, and they're like, Ricky, why wasn't our Madden champion in that state championship? And I was like, it's a long story. let me explain. And they was like, this is unacceptable. Why wasn't our Madden champion that goes to PC West not in that tournament? And then 10 minutes later, Rico, a lot of people don't know this, Rico, he's a Madden commentator from Oklahoma. And he's like, what the fuck, Ricky? Why wasn't I there to commentate this event? And I was like, look, bro, these dudes wasn't listening to me. I had to let them fall on their face, right? So this is what happens. I go and I call them out on that bill crap. I'm like, okay, we had 6 people playing Madden. And when I went and I looked at the bracket, there's 5 white guys and 1 black guy. So I call bullshit immediately. I'm like, no,
that's not right.
Every time I'm at a damn I've done way too many midnight releases. I've done my fair share. And every time there's about 40 to 60 black guys in the line. You know, so I go, I'm head of this. I'm going to police this, and I'm going to prove to you guys. And they was like, well, there's just no interest in Madden. And I was like, oh, yeah? So I pull out a piece of paper, and I was like, all these people want to play. you know, and I'm like, I'm the Madden guy now. So next season, we're going to have a lot more people representing us. Because I think a lot of times people skip over the Douglases. You know, in that tournament, there was only Edmund Santa Fe. Just hear me out. Edmund Santa Fe, Edmund Memorial.
Shout out to Memorial. I graduated in 2003. Just wanted to do a shout out. Thank you. Go on.
What's that one? Yeah. Jinx was in the tournament. So I'm like, where's Douglas? Where's John Marshall?
Where's Millwood?
Where's Capitol Hill? Where's Millwood? Where's Southeast? I'm like, you guys didn't do your research, and if you would just let the guy that's been doing this since he was in the 8th grade, I would have people for you, right? So my goal is this next generation of gamers is, even the women, I'm going to make sure, even if you're not if you're not a competitive gamer, it's okay to be casual. Ain't nothing. You don't have to be the best. You just got to be in the room. That's it.
Yeah.
Be in a room. So, working on that.
I wonder how you would. I don't think there's an answer to that. That's mainly on them. Like, how do you get those people to understand that, to go to those tournaments, right? You really can't do. It's on them. You really can't.
It's on them.
Think about it. It's ego.
I think it's a lot of exposure. It's like exposure to it. You know, when I explain a video game tournament to someone, it sounds like a unicorn. We know it's real. It's just no one's seen it before, right? So it's like, just come out. I even last year when we was trying to do Super Bit Wars 8, they made a mistake and put the state championship the same day as Super Bit Wars. I'm like, why would y'all do that? But my goal next year is, even if you're not competing, I want all the high schools that's in this league, the high school esports league, to come to Super Bit Wars. Just come look. Because once you watch it, you're going to be like, I want to do that. Because that's just like with basketball. When I see Michael Jordan doing it, I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to play basketball.
True. That's very true. That's very true.
You get those paragons, and it's like, okay, that's, it's like, oh, don't make it a role model. I was like, no, but yes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's like yes and no. I agree. When I saw Tekken, when I saw how Raybone, Biggs, Davidism, those guys, I was like, all right, I better go back home and hit the lab on this.
But then it's okay. I be telling people all the time, I'm like, maybe your kid, like, a lot of parents in my inbox every day, and they're like, my kid plays Fortnite. And I'm like, maybe competitive gaming is not for them. Maybe they want to stream. Maybe they want to commentate. Maybe they want to do something on the other side of the fence. There is 2 sides of this fence. You don't have to be good at video games. You can suck and that's okay. Matter of fact, the best gamers on Twitch, the best streamers, suck at video games.
They're just entertaining to watch.
It's just the nature of the beast. I remember I used to go on Twitch and I could learn something. Now I'm just more learning about like cool ways to interact and be cool with people. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. You don't, if you want to go watch some competitive stuff, go on a competitive stream. You want to learn and be cool with some people, hop on a cool stream. Like Matt does a stream where he just builds Legos all day. And that is the most soothing thing I've ever seen, where I just watch him build Legos for an hour. So
Damn,
it's okay to be a geek in other ways.
I wish I had thought of that, by the way, Ricky.
How powerful do you think your influence is to the community?
Oh, I think it's very powerful.
Okay.
We call this the brain trust. There's 3, and I'm gonna just check out who they are. There's 3 guys in this state that I feel like if they're not a part of it, it could hurt an event, and that's me, Puyan, and Richard.
Shout out to Richard.
What happens is, let's say for example, if there's a Tekken tournament and Richard's not there, they get a low turnout for one, and then people don't want to go. And mainly because it's like the other organizations don't know what they're doing. They don't have the proper equipment and things like that. Or there's a lot of times when I say, hey, this is trash, I'm not doing it. it doesn't get done. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I would say I have a lot of. The good thing is I don't plan on abusing it when I probably should. But I've noticed that a lot of times if one of us don't say something or agree to it, a lot of people don't do it. And that's why I know a lot of times where I don't always make the best decision, but sometimes people get mad at me when I don't deal with trolls in the community because I feel like it's overwhelming. It's not always good for me to be Judge Dredd around here, like to execute someone because of their stupid opinion, you know? So, yeah, it's a gift and a curse, man. I'll tell you that much.
Is it? You think you're so powerful? You could say, "Don't go to a tournament," and no one would show up. Do you think you're that powerful?
I think so.
Okay.
I think I am.
Okay.
I've had
I can believe it. I'm just like,
I've seen,
I never had that, but I don't know.
I've seen similar situations like a year, some change ago, like before COVID. I'm not going to name specifically. People who know, they know. But situation occurred where there was an event and it wasn't done the best of ways, and there was an RDR later that day, and the thing that I heard the most when people showed up to RDR, because I was there, it was like, oh man, this event, they were talking mad trash about that event, and somebody was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna tune them up on Facebook later, and it just this whole thing, word gets around. Oklahoma is small enough, word gets around. If you suck, you suck.
Yeah. It's so funny about the question I asked you, because when I first started, during the time of the Gamer Stand podcast, like I was trying to research like who is known in Oklahoma in the game community, and that's when everybody started throwing Ricky at me, and I was like, I was an idiot, because I was like, I never heard of this guy in my life. It's like, and then like I heard this and this and this, and then that's when I like reach out, which is like, here's the thing about you, and I think it's just anybody. I think a person that powerful can be very intimidating. I think people sometimes can be afraid to come up to you about problems, right? About issues and all this stuff, and just to even like talk to you about something. Like you're running a network, and I'm asking you to come on my show. It's like that can be very intimidating.
Well, it's the assumption that's like, oh, he's busy with stuff. He doesn't have time for. I'm not even on his radar. Whatever, things like that. I mean, at the end of the day, just ask.
No. At the end of after this, it's proven. Like, and the worst you can get is no. But at the same time, if you're just starting, it's one of those like, you're not gonna call Miyamoto and ask him, hey, do you have time?
Yeah,
like,
true.
You kind of have to It almost felt like to me was like, you got to build your name before you get a big name on your thing, and it's like I can't have like Ricky on the first episode kind of thing. It's more like, look, I'm 57 episodes in. I got a nice following. Can you please come on the show? It's like, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's what it kind of felt like. I knew that you have to build your brand up a little bit before you get noticed. And I guess my question for you is that, do you feel like people take you as a very intimidated person when it comes to kind of issues and all the other stuff?
I think some people do, because there was even with the one guy called me out. He said I was gatekeeping in the community, right?
Yeah,
and I was
I saw that too. Yeah,
I'm like, I'm not gatekeeping. I'm protecting you guys, because I've been in this scene since I was a kid. And what I've seen is people try to take credit for stuff that I do, or they'll take stuff where other people do, and so that's what it is. Or people are so intimidated by me, they'll be scared to ask for my services, and I don't know why, because I'm actually pretty a chill dude. I'll even with your show, I wouldn't have cared if you only had one viewer. I would have came on because I thought you were cool as fuck. I thought it was awesome that you had a nice layout, you had everything together. So I was excited when I went to your show. I whether you're a small fry or big fry, to me, I think I'm easy to deal with, but I found that a lot of people are intimidated by me. It was one gamer, he had issues with me from 3 years ago. I'm like, dog, why you didn't tell me? This is something I could fix. I could fix this right now. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, anybody listening, please don't be intimidated by me. I'm really cool. Like, we can go get some food, eat some candy, play some games.
I mean, almost every RDR event, when I see Ricky, he's like, "Yo, what's up?" Yeah, he asks about you in the podcast and everything like that. Yeah, it's.
I'm a chill dude.
Yeah, if you make an impression, Ricky will remember you.
And it's interesting because like once you get to know Ricky, then there's layers. Like, that's when I met Rashad. That's when I met this. I'm like, okay, so he helps runs the thing in Tulsa. It's a huge roadmap of like or more like a spider web of like who he is connected with and all this stuff. And I guess that's my question for you is like how did Rashad get connected? How did you guys connect to do this?
So I wonder how he found the group. So one day I seen him post an event in a group and I'm like, oh, thank God. I was happy. A lot of people don't understand when it comes to tournaments, we really don't look at each other as competition. We only look at each other as competition when one is talking bad about the other. So Rashard's getting ready to host a tournament. I go to his stream and it is awful. I'm like, oh no. And so I inbox him. I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? I'm like, this is what you need. So we were talking. He goes, yeah, I'm about to buy some 42-inch TVs. I'm going to buy about 30 PlayStations. I'm like, no, don't do that. I said, don't start that way. I said, this is what you need. I was like, you need 24-inch Asus monitors. You only need 4 PS4s. Don't get a lot. Start with 4. And I'm like, this is all the things you need. And so he was like, man, thanks. I was about to spend way more money than this. You just saved me. And so by Rashard being in Tulsa, now I don't got to go to Tulsa all the time. When I'm going to Tulsa, I'm going to help him. And so that's how our relationship started.
Okay.
And, and then sometimes it's crazy. It's like, even though he has his company, I have my company, all of our events are our babies. And so if something's wrong with Super Bit Wars, he's upset. And when something's wrong with King of the Sticks, I'm upset, because it's like we take turns. So when I'm at his event, I'm running his brackets. When he's at my events, he's running my brackets. So, and that's just kind of how I started working, Even with Puyon, the way I met him was through a Super Bit Wars. He was my commentator at the time. And all I remember is this kid with a nice suit on. And I was like, damn, out of all the guys that was here, that's the guy I need to be communicating with. And so eventually, after Super Bit Wars 4, we had good turnout and everything, but we were having some rocky situations, right? I had this is a crazy story. We was at Super BitCon. I had a Smash tournament, right? The prize pool was $280. I added $40 to the prize pool. And what I did was I gave first place an extra $20. They were pissed off at me. They was like, why you didn't give that $20 to me? I'm like, yeah, you got third place. You got third place money. First place won. I'm giving them a cherry on the top. They was like, that's not how you do it. Blah, 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 blah.
It's my money.
Yeah.
Right. But it caused a big problem in the scene. And so Puyon was like, look, I know you don't have Solidus no more, RIP. And he's like, if me and you work together, I can help you make Super Bit Wars big. And sure enough, first we had 265, and then we had about 400. And so Super Bit Wars has been getting bigger every single year. Like this one, we were already at 400. We ain't even capped off the year, and then we had to cancel it. So it's funny how the network of all of the TOs, it starts connecting, and we start all knowing each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One thing, the gatekeeping thing is, it's like we started noticing these companies will come in and they'll say, do you have the game? Do you know what you're doing? Come bring your A game. And they don't have the verbiage be off. I'm like, we call them suits now. We call them suits. And they don't know what they're doing, and they're not part of our network. And it's just like, well, we got to let this guy fail. And then when he fails, we'll pull him off to the side. I'm like, okay, this is where you messed up at. So
now that you're humbled a bit, come over here.
So, Jerron, let me ask you this as someone on the inside. And I think one of the things that Ricky probably has a hard time of, you being a host and running around, you probably miss all the little things, little stories are happening around because you're so busy. So, Jerron, I'm asking you this question. What do you think not so much what do you think, do you think there's a lot of toxicity in the fighting community among going to these tournaments? Do you see any signs? Do you see any signs of like toxicity, or do you notice anything like I'm not liking what I'm seeing here and there?
Okay,
based on your experience.
All right, so I'm not. I don't go to as many. I'm going to preface this by saying I don't go to as many events as I would like because of various commitments, or if I'm on call or whatever. But from the events that I have gone to, I'll take the very first one at DZ. My first experience, I think of I can't remember if it was Biggs or someone else. Someone straight up yelled they were putting a bounty on Raybone.
Yeah, it was Biggs.
Okay, so that was Biggs. Oh, I remember that stuck out in my head. I was like, "What the hell? Wow, is this some big fish here?" Well, there's a lot of smack talk, but from what I've noticed, it's mostly among people who already know each other, who've played each other in offline casuals. Now, toxicity, I have not been witness to it.
Okay.
But let me be clear. I'm not denying that is not out there. I have just either had the fortune or misfortune, however you want to look at it, of not witnessing it. And I'm trying to, train my own ears and eyes to recognize that. So if I do see it, I can at least say, "Hey, whoa, what you're talking about?" Or at least go to the person that may have been aggrieved and said, "Hey, yo, don't worry about it." Because I know if I were in that position, I would want somebody to do that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I have not seen it, but I believe it is out there. Little things here and there, just little shit comments.
I think if I had to be real here for the listeners, I don't think there's such thing as paradise, and I say that as nowhere is going to be perfect and harmony and everything like that. There's going to be a bad egg, someone's going to get pissed and everything, and I think it comes down to how high that level of toxicity is, right? So Ricky, I noticed that I think it was a month or so ago, you did have a group chat on your Facebook with Devin Cook, which he is going to be. Yeah. He is going to be our next interviewer. I'm actually, because I want to get his point of view of as more of a regular and get him that, because my goal is to air both of these shows on the same week so everybody can just kind of hear both sides. So I want to ask you on that front of, do you think, based on your tournaments and the things you've seen, have you seen toxicity level go up, or do you see it kind of go down, or you just never notice?
So what I've noticed is I be thinking I don't see the toxicity until it's too late. So let's say, for example, and me and Devin, we had our powwow now, right? I didn't know he was upset with me for a year, and I reached out to him. I'm like, everything good, and so a lot of times is the gamers, they're on the outside looking in, and they don't understand. It's like tinted windows. You can I can see the car, but I can't see you. Can see me, but I can't see out, right? If I'm saying that right. And so what happened, I think where it started was, let's say for example, Devin, I think, is a amazing commentator, right? And so I'm already trying to work on things. Okay, we can put him here, we can put him there, we can get him some exposure, right? And I'm like, we're going to get him this exposure, and then we're going to make sure he gets paid for this stuff. So like, first thing that happened was he thought that we got paid a ton of money for an event that we didn't. We made money. Now, I'm not going to lie. We made some good money, but when I made sure he got paid, I made sure he got paid. I didn't know the amount. I was under the assumption it was like $150, but I didn't know for sure. So that was one. And then I also heard he got upset at me. We did. Do y'all remember when we had a Christmas party? We had like a Christmas potluck or whatever.
I remember hearing about it. I didn't get to attend, but I did hear about it.
I never heard about it. No, I didn't.
Devin felt like we should have paid for all the catering stuff because we have all these RDRs and we make all this money. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, wait a second. What y'all don't know is DLC drops all the time. And one game of DLC on 8 setups, there's your potluck right there. That eats up the whole year of Red Dirt Rumbles. So I'm like, I don't agree with that, because Tekken season pass times 8, that's $200.
So basically, all the money you make is really just updating your
reinvested.
That's what. And that's not even including the traveling, the gas, the equipment. And that's one game. So if Dragon Ball is $30 every season. What's another game? Street Fighter is $20 every season.
Mortal Kombat 11.
Mortal Kombat. You see what I'm saying? That's a lot of DLC to be purchasing. So Red Dirt Rumbles, just let everybody know publicly, funds our DLC. And it doesn't, and that's a stretch. And then I think the other thing was, Devin doesn't know that when we did Kumite in Texas, my goal was to have him commentate there after he got through playing, because I knew that if he's on the stream, the way he's such a good commentator, he's going to get picked up. But he was just competing that day. So I didn't get him on stream, and I think he felt like I wasn't giving him his props, which I'm gonna tell you, he's not only a great gamer, he's a great commentator. He's also a good leader. The Oni gang is a cool ass group of really solid gamers.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is all that stuff was going on was based off of, I think, Devin's assumptions. He's thinking I'm making bad decisions when realistically I'm moving great chess pieces. The Christmas party wasn't to make everybody pay in. It was just like, hey, today, instead of you just buying lunch for yourself, we're going to all bring food. We're going to all have what's it called, communion together, and we're going to play video games. You know, even that, there have been times where I've done tournaments for people, and I'll say, hey, you can't play today? I'll pay your way. Don't worry about it. I'll eat the cost. I've done that with so many gamers. So I take a loss doing Red Dirt Rumbles. Sometimes it's like when I do Red Dirt Rumbles, I'm like, damn, should I keep doing these? Because it's like I'm losing money doing them. But it's helping the scene. For the greater good of the scene, I got to keep doing them because it's making us grow. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say the toxicity is behind. It's like I don't find out about it until it's too late, and a lot of them is fixable. I'll even throw in one more quick one, where there was a guy that was working with me at events, and he felt like he should have been paid, and I was just like, "Well, this is a volunteer position, but if you wanted to get paid, you should have told me because I could have paid you." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I did this, I did that, I did this." I said, "Hey, guess what? You're at Super Big Wars 6. I reached in my pocket. I gave him $200. I said, you just got paid. Just tell me. Because a lot of times I don't know. Because we're in a niche market. It's hard to understand what a pay scale is here. You know, it's very difficult to say, oh, we should pay $10 an hour or we should pay $15 an hour. And a lot of times when I go places, people don't want to pay TOs. They don't want to pay referees. They're like, I'll just get volunteers for free. So
I also think on top of that, and maybe I'm going to just be blunt about it, is I think a lot of people don't understand behind the scenes of what everything is going on until they get their experience. I think now that people do their own tournaments in their own way, now understand that this is not as easy as you think it is, and it's easy to miss all these little things in the crack because I'm catering to everybody.
Yeah.
You know? I can't cater to this one person, you know?
Well, yeah, and it comes down to it's something I learned from a counselor of mine a couple of years ago. I was like, so many things happen from people catastrophizing in their own mind or assumptions.
Ooh, what's that word again?
Catastrophizing.
Ooh.
Yeah, worst case scenario.
It's like that hyena, Whoopi Goldberg. Ooh, say that again.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get all professorial and stuff.
No, but that's what your calendar on the refrigerator said today, huh?
But for real, it's I think going off of what you said, a lot of people, because that seems to be a recurring theme when on some of your TO shows when people bring up grievances, it's like, well, let's shoot me a message, talk to me, let's go off, and I don't know, aside from what you've told me about between you and I didn't even know there was any type of assault between you and Coop, but I can understand because it's easier said than done. If you have beef with someone, or not even beef, you just something that you want that's irking you, and you want to say it. It's hard to just say, "Hey, this, what's up?" Because it could be either ego, you don't want to put yourself out there and seem like you're the asshole, or maybe you're afraid that a conversation will go worse than
he's intimidating. I told you this.
Well, I mean, maybe, that's also a factor.
Have you seen Ricky walk into a room?
But that's the factor. I mean, my girl and I, we try and have like weekly check-in. We talk to each other at the end of the week because we're busy. It's like, hey, let's check in. How's everything going? What's up? It's like, well, I don't like the way you said such and such. I'm like, yeah, sorry, my bad. I was a dick about that. Thank you for calling me out on that.
And what's crazy about that? Like, even with that, Devin had called me out on PayPal, and I think, like I said, Devin is cool. The whole time, I was not mad at him or nothing. I just didn't know he was and I wouldn't even say he's mad at me or he was salty. He was disappointed in me not understanding the logistics behind everything, because he was like, why I didn't get my money back from Super Big Wars when it got canceled? He just didn't know that PayPal was like, wait a second, you're a small company. Why is $10,000 coming out of your bank account? Because that's how much money came in from Super Big Wars. And I'm just like, hey, I need to refund these people. Quit stopping me refunding people, right? And so there was times they were freezing our accounts. I can't do nothing about that. I can't ship money. I can't send money. Yeah. And we had to go through this transaction. There's still 20 people left that haven't got refunded. I've emailed them. I've called them. I've texted them. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, come on. Respond to me. Yeah. And so he thinking like I'm holding on to this money. He not understanding that we're going through this weird thing where PayPal doesn't want to pay us. Yeah. Or they PayPal won't let us send money. It was weird. It's like, please let me refund these people. And then even that, I've had times where we're trying to pay people now, right? When they come help us at tournaments. I had a guy. So one person made like $300 for TOing, right? They were upset. They were offended. They felt like, how dare you pay me $300? I'm above this. I'm like, wait a second. This is the commission from all these people that played in this tournament. This is the scale. He said, no, you keep it because my time and money is valued way more than this. And I see this slippery slope. I've like, okay, next time we're going to make people sign that they're making $10 or $15 an hour. Because he put in $15 an hour worth of work for 2 days. I think that's pretty good money. Versus he was offended. So thinking about how I feel as a businessman, I'm trying to figure out, okay, damn, should I have paid him less or should I have paid him more? Should I have gave him a salary? Half the dudes that we paid didn't sign a contract like I told them to. I was like, hey, this shows your pay scale. This shows how many pulls we're doing. This is show your hours of work. You know what I'm saying? So think about how that is, how scary that is. That I'm scared to say, okay, guys, look, I'm going to pay you $15 an hour. Is that okay? Please work for me. Yeah.
No, I completely understand.
I understand from the business perspective of you have to. I mean, you want to pay these people, but you also have to cover your own ass. Yeah, but, and because of situations like you just described, I can see it being where you have to lean more towards, I'm sorry, I want to try and keep this informal, but I got to paperwork your ass. I gotta give you these forms. You got to sign these in triplicate, man. So you and I are on the same page. You're getting paid X amount or X percentage or whatever. That's how it is. So, I mean, my question to you is, with these encounters that you've had, do you feel have they been things that made you kind of rethink or revisit how you certain processes in HXC?
Oh yes. Because even now, one thing I'm noticing, and I can just talk about this publicly, I'm hosting an event in Texas. It's called Low Tide City, right? It's going to be at it's going to be at the Kalahari Resort, right? And I've been reaching, and it's in Texas. So I feel like, okay, since I'm in Texas, I got my HXC staff, I got some local guys, but I also need to work with some Texas people, right? It's their scene, it's their area. I want to work with some guys in their backyard, and I want to pay them. So I've reached out to some guys, and they just feel like, I don't know, I might do it. And I'm like, yo, this is in your backyard at the biggest water resort in America. This is big for us. Do you want to be involved? And it's just been difficult. And so even then, I've been saying, okay, hey, I can only pay you $15 an hour. And the way I'm thinking is, this is more than McDonald's. And a lot of them like, well, I don't know. I'll get back with you. And I'm just like, man, okay, maybe is it safe to do this tournament without people in their own region? Because that's what's scaring me right now. It's like, I want to use somebody from Texas. But, what's crazy, too, is all the Texas gamers, they're like, please move down here. We need you. They're like, Ricky, if you come down here, we will throw the house at you. Promise you. Come stay here, run tournaments here. And I'm just like, I can't leave Oklahoma. You see what I'm saying? It's like the scene is championing me, but I don't know if the TOs are intimidated by me. I don't know what it is. I'm going to get to the bottom of it, and I hope that I can work with them, and I got to figure it out. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm scared as fuck. I am scared. I'm hoping I don't upset no one by like offering the money I'm trying to offer, because realistically, I can't I can't pay you $50,000. You know what I'm saying? I don't got that kind of money.
I mean, you're offering them money to do something. I mean, like you said, it's more than McDonald's, and they ain't gonna stink like fries and burgers and have to lie and say the shake machine's broken.
Nah, man, I got the stimulus check. I'm still riding this out.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's not true.
And guess what? We're gonna feed you soda and snacks too. So it's like water too if you're just a water person. But
I don't know. Maybe do you think that there's like too many people who, I don't want to say entitled is such an overused term.
I think entitled is perfect for this example.
But okay, all right, because I know at least a few people who would be like, what, $15 for what? You want me to do what?
Yeah.
What, where do I sign up? What do you need? What you need? What you need?
Do you think that's against between people that have low experience of that compared to people that have been doing it for a while? So people that do it a while just feel like that, like, nah, I'm good. Kind of experiencing someone like, let's make this happen. Kind of thing.
I mean, there's a whole movement of know your value, know your worth, king, know your worth, queen. But the thing is, you have some people kind of overvalue themselves, I guess. I mean, you're not TOing is hard work, but I don't know. Do you know of anybody that you've worked with that deserves $50 an hour?
Maybe Ian from Kumite, Rick from Combo Breaker, but even them, they're gonna. So the crazy thing about people like them, even myself, I call it 3 tiers, right? There's an esports tier, a grassroots tier, and a local tier. A local tier is, if you're my homeboy, I'm going to give you the homie hookup on me. If you're a grassroots kind of big event, I'm going to give you a discount. But if you're esports, I'm going to hit you over the head. Because when you're esports, you're one of those assholes that come with them in the scene and they throw money at everything. So I'm like, okay, since you're throwing money at everything, you can pay me and all my comrades a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say I want $50 an hour, but I can say that I can justify. Let's say, for example, if I'm doing a weekend event and you want a bunch of setups, I can justify $5,000 easily. I can say, okay, hey, if you want this event, you're going to get this many people. I'm going to bring this many setups. You're not going to have to worry about DLC. You're not going to have to worry about running the event. You know what I'm saying? Versus when these other organizations come in, they're asking questions like, hey guys, how many setups do you think we need? Oh, I'm sorry we ain't got the DLC. We only got 4 setups. Oh, sorry, they're on these big TVs. You see what I'm saying? It's just almost like having someone like me in the scene, you're not going to have to worry about nothing. We're like a worry-free organization. And I feel that way whenever I work with other people. Like when I work with Kumite, Tourney Locator, anybody, Rick Guido from Tennessee, I know that I can say, okay, hey, y'all run pools. I'm about to go talk to people. And everything's going to go right. Does that make sense? Versus if I have a volunteer, I'm like, hey, okay, when you do this pool, don't leave. Wait for the next person to relieve you. Don't burn nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, man.
Sounds like people have to. Sounds like you're within your rights to make people justify the additional amounts that they're adding. Because from everything you just listed, you listed out what would be a resume. Hey, these are my qualifications. Right? Yeah, these are my qualifications. This is what I've done. This is why I'm worth it, like a business. So I'm sure if I talk to any of these folks who's like, yo, they only pay me a couple $100 for such and such, for what? Let's say a weekend. No, let's say one day. Let's say one day. We would say that would be like what? 8 hours of work.
Right. 8 hours of work.
Yeah, $200 for 8 hours of work. I'm not gonna screw up trying to do some quick math, do $1 an hour, but
right.
$200 for 8 hours of work. You're indoors. You're not having to deal with people. Well, you're dealing with people yelling at you, but you can probably tell them to chill out.
Yeah.
You're not doing it in a normal retail environment. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, especially if you need some extra bucks. You got gas money. You got some money to pay a light bill or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing something that it's hard for me. I'm trying to empathize, but it's hard. That's where ego comes in.
Yeah,
people get egos.
Yeah.
But I like to tell people, think of it this way: you've made more in a day when you're running pools for me than you would at a call center.
Yeah. or you know, or as much as working at a decent position at Costco or something like that.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of other organizers, I've pitched this to them. I'm like, hey, let's pay people $15 an hour, and they said no. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, why not? They're like, why would I pay volunteers or people asking to be here $15 when I can just get someone like you and you come with a staff of people, and I'd rather just pay you the $5,000.
So, you know, in the tech industry, your HXC Gaming would classify as a managed service provider. Yeah. You know, large hedge funds. I worked at a place. Large hedge funds would just say, you know what, we don't want to deal with this. Here's this. We want this. Here you go. Build up a proposal for us, and we just pay you. And you have the staff. You are our plug-in, our modular IT department. You know, so here you go. So yeah, it sounds. I mean, that's HXC Gaming is a modular, you know, TO gaming organization.
Exactly. And I'll never forget when I first kind of, I guess, raised my prices when I was at what's it called? It was the Expo. Let's Play Expo, right? Okay. I was there. I don't want to say.
I think I was there too. I think I was there too.
Yeah, exactly.
I think yes.
And I was expecting one amount, but he paid me double. And I was like, hey, you paid me more than what we talked about. He said, yeah, because you're worth it, Ricky. He said, you brought all of this. I didn't hear about one fire. You just took care of over 2,000 of my customers. Thank you so much. Please raise your prices. And I was just like, okay. I was like, I'll do that.
That's a glowing endorsement. I'll go on the back of a shirt. HXC Gaming, please raise your prices.
So, Jerron, Michael, I have a question for you. You know, I noticed that even when I go there, that, you know, I always hear Tekken. Even in the fighting community, it's Tekken. Okay? So, when I go to these events, Tekken probably gets the biggest out, you know.
Among the biggest, yeah.
Yeah, one of the biggest, right? Ricky, do you think some people don't come because they just don't see the turnout of how many people want to go play their game? Like, say, Guilty Gear, King of Fighters, which I've never seen King of Fighters there, in my experience.
Right. There are people who would play it, but...
Of course, you know, you got Smash Brothers and all this stuff, but I always see Tekken being number one. Like, how do you wish more games got a little bit more attention than just Tekken, or you're just kind of satisfied where it is? Well, what's your outlook on that?
Yeah, exactly. So here's my attitude. I wish, the thing is, it's almost like it's always a new wave. So like right now for the event I'm talking about, Guilty Gear right now is capped at 140 people.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I love Guilty Gear.
Which is awesome. I'm like, yes. I go check the Tekken numbers and they're 19. And I'm like, what the? And even with Mortal Kombat, it's almost like, and I'm not trying to call gamers babies, it's like they're looking for the new shiny thing. And it's like, I wish developers would give us more control. I'm trying to work on that, get into more rooms with developers. But in a perfect world, I want all the brackets to have 64 plus. And that includes Guilty Gear. That's the reason why we did that event a couple weeks ago where it was just only Guilty Gear. Because I'm like, okay, we're going to build this other scene up too. Because I feel like if other scenes had pro tour points, more people would play. Because like right now, Street Fighter is the bomb. And it's only the bomb because they dropped all this new content and stuff like that. And it's hard getting all the games like that when all the gamers is like, ooh, there's something new and shiny over here. I want to go play that. Yeah. That's what's happened with Virtual Fighter. People have been inboxing me saying, Ricky, when's the Virtual tournament? I'm like, never. Never.
I played Virtual Fighter. I played Virtual Fighter 4, and I play 4 and 5. But Nessa Lewis is my girl. But holy hell, that game is freaking complicated, and it's complicated as hell. And yeah, it was a new thing. Here's the thing. So not necessarily a rebuttal, but kind of a retort on what you said. I think it's not necessarily the newest, shiniest thing. They're looking for stuff because the complaint I hear is netcode.
Yeah.
Like, people are practically hammering Tekken on the damn cross because of the netcode. Because for the last year, year plus, that's all we've really had to go on is the netcode. And Street Fighter's got a decent netcode. Smash Brothers doesn't have netcode. We don't even know, it's a joke. Guilty Gear, they're saying, oh, the netcode for Guilty Gear Strive is good. It plays good. Hey, an anime fighter is good.
But that shouldn't be an issue since it's local tournaments, right? It's in house. right?
That's what you would think. Yeah, that's what you would
though.
think. See how Smash doesn't suffer from it? It's weird because the Smash netcode is trash, but it doesn't. The scene doesn't die because its netcode is trash. It's weird. That's why I learned not to treat all the gamers the same, because each game, each scene is completely different from the other one. All the Guilty Gear guys act different from the Sam Show guys. I don't know why.
It is true though. I see a market difference in how they behave.
I can imagine like the Warriors, and you have that guy come out. I was like, looky here, we got the Guilty Gears with the Tekken.
Sit next to Smash.
Nobody's icing nobody.
Exactly.
Oh, think of it like anime. It's like everyone loves anime, but then you got your people that like Attack on Titan. You got your people that like One Punch. Then you got the other ones that like Dragon Ball. And you can't scoop them all together. Because they'll get offended and be like, how dare you? I watch Bleach. You know,
I'm 700 episodes into blah 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 Naruto. You know, I'm not hating. I've watched all of those as well, but you know, I've had to curate. You know, personally, I don't know about you guys, but if you got more than 36 episodes, I can't.
Exactly,
hang with you right
dude. I'm the same way. Like, I have to do dub. I don't feel like reading anymore, man. I get tired. I get sleepy. Just I'll deal with the dub. I'm sorry.
I tell people, it's like, oh, you watch Soda? Hey, I was like, I could speak it if I wanted to.
Hit me up when you're 80. Tell me if you want to keep reading.
Yeah, it's like, but I listen to dub because I want to relax. I'm not trying to prove it. Maybe that's a whole. I see that in the FGC when they post about anime. I'm like,
well, Ricky, I need you to try to make a promise for me. Now, that new King of the Fighters is looking good.
Yes, it does.
Dude, no, man. I love the way they've been marketing. You know, like just introducing these characters. The game looks awesome. I hope that King of the Fighters this is their biggest one, like for the tournament. I feel like they just don't get the shine, you know?
It doesn't. And this, honestly, King of the Fighters is really solid. Even when it was at EVO, it's got a solid viewership. It's a good game. And then nobody supports it. It's weird. I don't know why gamers do that, because you're spot on. Like, I'm sorry. I'm almost done, okay?
That was cute. Right?
But that's my son. He was like, are you recording?
If you recording, you talking to yourself for an hour. What are you doing over there?
Exactly. It's like, no, I'm talking to myself. What's wrong with you?
But if gamers would just support their game and focus on their game and quit calling it bad, and if it is bad, just continue to play it anyway, it would survive, you know. Even with Virtual Fighter, I'm being serious. If everybody starts playing it, I'll do it. But it's always a financial risk for me if I buy 8 copies of Virtual Fighter and then no one plays it. So now I didn't commit it to some DLC that I'm not even using, you know? Yeah. So it's a slippery slope. So I believe if there's a game you like, play it, and then get everybody else to play it. Get your friends to play it.
Is Samurai Showdown doing pretty well so far? Or that kind of died out?
Samurai Showdown was doing really good, and then COVID hit.
Okay.
So COVID sliced the necks of a lot of things. It was, and I think Samurai Showdown will be fine, but I
mean, hell, Soul Calibur, because Soul Calibur had, you know, a decent following and I would say better netcode. And, you know, I don't see a lot of love for that. And what you were saying about people playing it anyway, even though they're saying it's bad. Yeah, a lot of people who you know, dunk it on tech and everything. Some of those same names I see pop up in my Steam windows, like so-and-so's playing Tekken 7. Or, you know, several of us will get together and we'll have a lobby. It's like, you know what? Fuck it, netcode's bad, but at least we'll play together. We'll be in the same state and we'll play. You know,
exactly.
They'll still play. It's a typical gamer thing anyway. People are like, oh, this sucks. This sucks. Like, whatever. You'll be buying it. If not release day, the week after.
Well, I want my wish. I want my King of the Fighters. That's my favorite game to watch.
Maybe you'll have a setup, just a King of the Fighters setup.
I know. I'll go there just to support. You know.
We'll definitely have King of the Fighters and Virtual Fighter available just to play for free play, for real.
Okay. Cool. So just a couple more things, and then we'll get ready to wrap this conversation up. I want to talk about your recent recording that you did with Richard.
Okay.
The recent episode with I am sorry, they all have code names. I don't know their
Ray
real
Cherry and Pig Diamond.
Yeah, I don't know their real names.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. Sorry, I don't know your name. And then there was one other fellow. I forgot his name.
I know. I can't.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Bear Claw.
That's right, Bear Claw.
Thank
That's
you.
what it was. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. So I listened to that episode. Shout out to Pink. It was hard to hear you halfway.
Yeah,
it was hard to hear you halfway. But
the audio was rough.
Yeah. But I got the gist of what you were saying at the very beginning and everything like that.
Okay.
I guess my question for you is that has this been kind of like unnoticed for you, you know, during the times that you did the tournament, and it just took a while for it to notice to come about this because due to, once again, people are not speaking out loud enough about that. And then my second thing is, is there any way you're going to plan to kind of like, you know, look out for that? I don't want to say policing. Police is too strong. That's just like, it's like having people just walk around making sure everything. I guess I'm like, is that something now in your conscious mind for every tournament in that way? Like, how are you coming up? What are you going to do that going forward? I'm kind of curious because I wouldn't know what to do in that situation.
Yeah, it is, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's it's sticky. So I will say this, and I would want to publicly say this too. 20 years ago, I didn't understand this stuff. All I knew is I've had, you know, gay cousins. I've had gay family members, gay friends that got made fun of, right? And I probably should have. I never understood when people would make fun of them and things like that, and I would just be. I wouldn't understand it. It didn't make sense to me. And even now, when I would see it and I hear about it, I'm just like, hey, this is what you want to be. This is what you want to do. Be you. I promise you, you're not going to offend me. And I think a lot of times, like, one of the gamers that don't come to our events no more because they're transitioning doesn't feel comfortable. And I'm just like, I think you're awesome and you should come anyway. Fuck what everybody else says. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm trying to inspire them to just continue to do what it is. I promise you we don't care. And they're saying, yes, they do. Yes, they do. And that's the reason why we got another person that's coming on the show that's going to give their perspective of them having a bad time in the scene where they're that person. I think I knew the first time it got real serious for me is when I'm sitting by Sonic Fox, right? We're at a tournament and Sonic Fox is flipping through this book and it's got a bunch of foxes with titties and
some
and I'm
porn.
like, yeah, and I don't understand this. I'm just like, and I apologize. I don't know if is cussing okay? I don't know. So
I cuss.
dude, if it was you, we all did it a long time ago. Come on, you've been on our show long enough. I don't care.
Okay. So I'm looking, and I'm like, and Sonic Fox is looking at me like, yeah, I'm into that. I'm like, do you? And I'm like, I don't want to see no more Sonic, but I support you. You know, and it just made me realize, I'm like, hey, he likes his things too. You know. That's not going to affect my lifestyle because of what he's into. And I hope there's a way that people can stop. Don't be scared to come out. Because honestly, yes, there are people like Ricky that will protect you. Because I'm not going to put up with the crap. If I catch anybody belittling, making fun, threatening anybody in the trans community, LGBTQ, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, I will ban your ass. Like, I'm being serious. Because it's not fair for them to not be comfortable on what they're doing and no one else is supporting what they are. Because, you know, it doesn't make sense what people do in their own lives for it to be someone else's problem. I remember the first time I knew someone that was transitioning and they were in a dress and someone else was like, man, why are you letting that dude just be on your stream in the dress? I was like, that dude would beat your ass in Marvel. So so don't treat her like that, you know, because that's what she is. Use the proper pronoun. So it's just like, man, if someone wants me to you need me to be that muscle, I will. I would do them just the same way I would do any other woman. You know, if I catch someone bullying a woman, I'm going to step in. So I don't like bullies at all. I can't stand it. You know, there was a famous photographer. I'm not going to mention his name. When I found out what he did to Pink Diamond, I unfriended him. I stopped talking to him. I canceled our contract because I don't care how good you are at your job. If I find out you're a piece of shit, you're not going to work with me. That's just what it is.
No, respect for that.
Because I would want the same thing, right?
That's the thing. It's empathy, and I think that's what a lot of folks kind of miss. You know, it's empathy. Like, let's take it back. Let's take it back 20 or 30 years. I'm let's say I'm 17. I'm going to a tournament someplace, and I'm like one of like 3 black guys there. Now we'll all laugh. It's like, oh, I see you. Hey, but at the end, you're still thinking, I stick out like a sore thumb. Yep. I'm starting thinking, what do these people probably think they're saying about me behind my back or whatever like that, or I'm doing this. What prejudices or presumptions do they have about me? And I know I shouldn't have that, but when you encounter that or live through that, it's kind of hard to turn that off.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good way to look at it. It's the same way with me. I am scared to go to Noble, Oklahoma, because I know how they would treat me.
Yeah.
Imagine being black and in that community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I know what we go through. We don't get any empathy being black men, right? We don't get any empathy. Some we do bad. It's just like, oh, fuck them. They made a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like the girl that the one in the Olympics, she's smoking weed. And I'm thinking like, damn, she is that fast that she can smoke weed and still win races. But what they're doing to her is like, who cares? You smoke weed, you're out. No one's just not having empathy.
It's not a performance enhancement. If anything, if anything, she's handicapping herself for others.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. They're not going through that thinking that she needs that marijuana to help her cope with her mother's death. You see what I'm saying? It's just like everybody's always looking on the outside, not understanding the empathy of what someone is going through. Yeah. You never know how long someone's been battling anything transitioning. I know I battled cutting my hair. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, do I want to cut this hair? I don't know if I want to brush these waves every day. That's a difficult decision. So imagine what they're going through, wanting to just be someone they want to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it's hard. I can understand it's hard for some people to kind of reprogram, because essentially, some people really do have to reprogram how they think about other people or how they interact with other people. And it's hard because not everybody's agile. Everybody's agile. And my friends who are transitioning or identify, either non-binary or anything like that, they're like, hey, if you slip up and correct yourself, I understand. It's not, it's not easy. I understand the difference between an accident and intentional. And I was like, cool. That's cool. We can't get fooled by the BS that we see on Twitter, the freaking the loudmouth crazies that make everything else look bad. We just got to be nice to each other, and you don't need to hire security or anything like that. But I don't know if you ever thought about having like volunteer enforce. I just like saying the word enforcer. Volunteer enforcers. Volunteer enforcers. They don't even have to be. We're identifying whatever or a badge or something, but just to kind of keep an ear out, like your ears. You be Odin. You have your ravens out there.
Yeah.
So, I like what you did there.
Yeah.
One thing I always try to ask them too is just like help us educate us, because some stuff we don't know. I know Rashard was saying we found out that they don't like being called guys. And when we say guys, you think guys as hey guys, everybody listen up, and it can be male or female. Versus we found out from Ray that she does not like being called guys at all. She likes them and they, and those are important things for us because we don't know. So all I ever ask is like, educate me, because I'm an idiot. I don't know everything. So if you just educate me, I'll respect everything, whatever you want to be called.
Yeah.
It comes down to just saying, hey, everybody.
Everybody.
Hey, everybody.
I mean, my family, my mom was like, all right, fuckers. Come on, eat that. It is true. I mean, and it comes to one hand speaking up, because it's easier said than done. A lot of people are conditioned to be passive. Passive. It's hard to assert yourself, because when you assert yourself, people think you're being an a-hole.
Yeah. Let me tell you this, and then I'm going to get ready to wrap this show up. I think when I was young, and I think we all, I was born in 84. Okay, you were born in 84 too. And
I'm older than you.
82. And I'm 82.
Okay, so I'm the youngest apparently. All right, cool. Let's get that out of the way. All right, so then you'll understand that I think in our generation growing up, we didn't really know about all this kind of stuff. I mean, think of the word gay, because gay was used in so many different ways. It was used to be called stupid.
Yeah.
You know, more than the actual word itself. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was later on when we started developing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, it says like we're from the generation that is we are slowly now evolving and understanding now. But back in that time, no one ever spoke out of this was not acceptable, at least not from my point of view.
Not in a large enough to be.
Not large enough.
You know, I mean, hell, watching some of the movies from the 70s and the 80s, hell, even the 90s and early 2000s, it's like, woo, man, that would catch some heat today.
Yeah.
You know?
Or think about the people how they back in the day in movies, they would use the gay person as the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they would use him as the joke, or, oh my God, he's gay. Ugh. He can't be touched. They even try to blame HIV on gay people.
Yeah.
I think about that. They were trying to make it like as if it was an infection.
Even the image. Remember the image, how they portray gay people. They were supposed to be this over-the-top, super feminine person.
Yeah.
Instead of like a regular guy can be gay.
The character from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, oh, we developed this javelin to fit with his limp wrist of throwing. So I was like, man, you could not do that.
No. No.
Ouch.
So, like, I say to the community that there is good people out here that are trying to learn. And I want to say to them, you got to give us just time. It's baby steps. Because we're slowly trying to learn. And just like you, it's like, look, I'm only human. I'm learning. But you need to, at least you're seeing the progress. It's not like I'm throwing it away.
Yeah.
As long as you're seeing the progress, then we're going somewhere there. But if I'm totally ignoring and like, okay, whatever, then I understand where that person's coming from. And I hope that later down the road in these tournaments, that we're seeing evolve from people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or if those people that don't want to participate, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just come play and move on. But don't ruin it for everyone else. You know what I mean?
I mean, I sometimes joke, it's like, man, it would be great, you know, in the community be the, you know, how wrestling has its baby faces and its heels, you know, but at the end of the day, right behind the curtains, they're still in catering together, eating together. It's like be the heel of the local FGC community, come in, boo. It's like, yeah, whatever, boo you too. Yeah, you know, but I would still be respectful. You know, you can be crazy smack talker, but still be respectful.
Yeah,
you know, I don't understand how. I mean, I understand, but it's baffling how people don't.
But here's that thin line. Ricky said at the very beginning of this about the girl that he was kind of protecting her, and what did he say about her? He said, "Let me be like I'm part of the team or part of everybody here." Where does that line cross? Right? Because like, okay, if you know, gay people, transsexuals, anybody in that community wants to be there and be treated like everybody else, you got to meet that halfway too, right? Because I know. This is a dangerous conversation, and people listening to this, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. But at the same time, like, you want us to be part. You want to be part of this, and we want to treat you like everybody else, but also in that respect. It's a tough line. It's a tough line.
Well,
it's very
I'll
tough.
put it this way: regardless of how someone identifies, you know, what community they're part of. If you're talking smack like, hey, it's time for me to take you to the woodshed. Oh, it's time for me to do this.
I'll give you. I understand that.
There's that, and then there's stuff that I've, you know, occasionally heard. You know, I'm some euphemisms for forced sex or forced anal sex or whatever like that. Yeah. You know, I can understand. There is a thin line, but the thing is, you know, people who are saying, "Hey, well, where does it end?" The answer is somewhere. So it's I just say, come to it. I will play you like you're anybody else. Hopefully, beat you like you're anybody else. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I want everybody to be in this. I want everybody to be in the tent.
Yeah.
I want everybody in the tent.
I think the safe way to do that is keep it to video games and memes. I think that's a safe place to be.
Yeah.
Like, do your trash talking, do your jokes,
and take your L. Just take the L. Don't make this a bigger thing. Don't make it this political or anything. Like, don't try be better.
Don't try and hurt someone for an immutable characteristic.
Yeah,
I feel that way.
Yeah,
like taking a nice soft L. I love taking L's. They're lessons. They're not losses. They're definitely lessons.
Yeah, I mean,
is that what your master told you?
Yeah. I will say I did see a video before I'm talking back to you, but I did see a video that this guy said, you know what? People who one and done, especially like net play or whatever, they should be banned. It's like, that's not giving somebody an L. How am I going to learn? No, I want the run back. So
you need to learn. Yeah, absolutely.
But Ricky, I hope that later down the road that you get back on track, get this whole ceremony going. I hope that the toxicity will stay low. I hope that more of the LGBTQ community will be more welcome in. I hope more women come into this more. I hope that we see just a lot of diversity in this community where I walk in, I'm like, man, there's every kind of person in here. This is awesome.
I mean, that's the thing, especially for it being Oklahoma, it would be a feat. I mean, it's possible. It can be done. It can be done.
Yep. I'm working on it, and I always tell people, like, don't worry. Just other people won't do it. Guess who will? This guy. I'm working on the diversity. I'm working on the big stuff, and I'm even, just to let everybody know, HXC Gaming, we're making a hardcore gamer apparel. Our apparel drops sometimes either this month or next month. I'm working on our own clothing line because I feel like, man, I'm a gamer. I want people to know I'm a hardcore gamer, and I'll be seeing these other people with these, like even your shirt. When I see your shirt, I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that I want on our side. Yeah. And so
casual people think it's the real thing, and I'm like, no, read it closer. So Hadouken.
For a second I was like, is that Heineken? Oh no, Hadouken.
Right.
That's a dope shirt.
Or someone wearing a shirt saying, hey, yo, I'm downright fierce, because it's a move. Street Fighter.
Exactly.
Ricky, thanks for making the time to come on the show and just kind of sit and chill.
And then I need you guys to be on our show too.
Yes.
With the TO podcast, the goal behind it is we want people to see what we're going through. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We want people to see the bullshit that we go through, and that we really love hosting tournaments. And sometimes it is a stretch. It's like, because a lot of these organizations, they like, the esports industry is big. Yeah, it's big, but it's a process. You have to get there before you start making money. I remember this guy, he inboxed me like a month ago. He's inboxing me and Rashard, and he's just like, I want to do these tournaments. How can I make $5,000? And I'm like, no. You're going to lose money for a while. Are you ready? And he was like, what? I don't want to lose money. I was like, well, you're going to have to. And he's like, people won't pay $100 to play online. I always see these big tournaments online. I'm like, yeah, those big tournaments are established. It takes time to be in this industry. And so that's the whole point of the TO show. Now, there's going to be some episodes where it's a lot of drama, but it's also going to be a lot of educational events. Like, I don't know if y'all seen the one we did with Danny Martin.
Not yet.
It was a really nice episode where he's just talking about the good side of the esports world. You know what I'm saying? Because if you notice, we bash a lot of the esports things. It's only because, man, these dudes are funny, man. They do, like, that convention center downtown, right?
Yeah.
I'm going there and I'm looking over. It's a nice place. It's nice. And they're like, yeah, we'll cut you a deal. We'll give you we'll charge you $20,000 to do your event here. How's that sound? I'm like, no. I said, you're going to pay me to come do an event here. I don't need to do this event here. I can go somewhere else and do the event. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, pay me $20,000 and then I'll come down here and do an event. And so, like, that's the shit that we're going through, where people feel entitled. Like, we need them, and we don't. We really don't.
And your show's on Twitch only right now? Is that?
So it's actually on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook.
Okay.
We stream on all of them. And our goal is, we got so many people coming up. Like, I can't wait to tell you guys. Like, all the people we got coming on the show are big names. And
awesome.
Nice.
We're doing what you said. We don't want to bring them in yet until the show gets more. It's snowballing. But I'm gonna tell you, we've been getting a lot of inboxes from people like saying, "Hey, I love the show. It's a dope concept."
Nice.
And it's in the right direction.
Good.
So,
good. No, can we find older episodes on the YouTube channel, or is it easier to find older episodes?
So right now you can find them on Twitch. They'll be on YouTube in a week, and then after that, we're gonna put them on iTunes and Spotify.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Okay.
So it'll be everywhere.
Well, for the people that are watching, I hope that the whole FGC is watching this episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to market. I'm going to try to market as best I can.
As many Discords as I can.
Yeah. As you know, that Jerron and I on our main show, the In Game Boss podcast, we talk about shows that not only challenged ourselves but challenged our listeners. So definitely check out our regular show on top of this one. And it's part of the In Game Boss network. All network, a bunch of shows that we do on the network. You can check us out on YouTube. You can check out on any listening spot. Just type in the In Game Boss program. We're all one spot. You don't have to look for every single show. We have it all in one place. Oh yeah, pick and choose. You can have fun with it.
Yeah, we want to hear from people. Give us your feedback. Well, we might tell you you're wrong, but no, but no, please speak up.
Yeah, we would just love to hear comments. That's what I thrive. Like, give me some comments. I haven't gotten any comments yet. I got some here and there, but I want some love. Show some love. Show some love for Ricky.
Right. A lot of times it's just because it's a Friday. If you would have did it on like a Wednesday during the day, they would have seen it. But like right now, everybody's playing, so just like,
what's the best day to post it then?
We should post it again, right? Post it with the YouTube link, and then post me the question when you post the YouTube link, post it the question again, like, hey, answer this question, and do it like between 1 and 5, and I guarantee you a bunch of people answer.
Okay.
Because I'm interested in seeing what everybody says.
Yeah, definitely. I only got like a couple of comments.
Yeah, but I know there's the Oklahoma fighting game community. There's Oklahoma gamers. I know RGS can post stuff there, and I'm in like 1 or 2 Discords. But I think it comes down to just cross marketing.
Yeah, and not just episode. I want people to hear from both sides. Now we're hearing the man behind the scenes. Now we have Devin Cook, where I'm going to be talking to him. We're going to talk to him more about what do you see from your point of view of this.
Yeah, and that'd be good to see his point of view of what he thought I was doing wrong. Yeah, and he had 100% right to feel that I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I also want to let him know, like, hey, babe, I promise you that was not my intentions. To be, messing up stuff. So, sometimes I look at myself as a brilliant idiot. Because sometimes I just don't know, bro. Like, it's just so hard to juggle a lot of things. So
I think that's just life in general, man. Like, you have to balance it out. You know,
it's like
you don't want to get sick of it.
My dad would always say, an error only becomes a mistake when you refuse to do anything to correct it.
God, your dad needs to stop buying fortune cookies.
Yeah. I just sent you the other guy's podcast. So
Thank you. I'll definitely check him out.
Nice.
Yeah, he did the same thing. He's like, wait a second. And he does fighting games, I think, on Fridays or something like that. Or is it Sundays? It's something like that. But same thing. He's like, wait, there's fighting game events here in Oklahoma. When I get a chance, I'm like, come by. I was like, yeah, come by, bro. Because you don't have to be competitive. You can come and just hang out with us.
Yeah.
I know for one, I would love to have a chance to commentate more, at least on Tekken, if nothing else.
Yeah, because you're really good at it. I've listened to some of your VODs. I'm like, damn, he's good at commentating.
I'm trying to bring the hype and energy.
You be doing it like those FIFA soccer?
No, I'm trying to be more like a Jerry the King Law. It's like, oh my God, oh, get the ambulance, stop the match.
Nice. But if you enjoyed the show and whatnot, feel free to subscribe, follow us. We'll love the support. As we said at the beginning, like, we market each other. Help us grow. Us grow. We want to stay communicated and whatnot. Yeah. But Ricky, let me go ahead and let you go. I know you got your son might come back in.
Where can people get you on Twitter if they want to hit you on Twitter?
Same thing. All my stuff is at Timmy Skorcher. Make sure you guys follow at HXC Gaming. If you search anything HXC Gaming, all our social media come up. And same thing with Twitter. All my social media for my personal stuff is at Timmy Skorcher. If you want to follow the TO Show podcast, just follow my gaming company, HXC Gaming.
All right,
I appreciate you guys so much.
All right,
and I'll let you know. I need you on our show too.
Awesome. Yeah, let us know anytime. Yes. All right. Well, thank you.
See you guys later.
All right, see you later.
Take care, man.
Peace.
Okay, so that's the end of that interview, and we'll catch you on our regular episode of our show. We can't wait to talk more. All right.
Yeah. Stage is not necessarily clear. We'll see you next time.
Yep.